Hello, everyone. If you could please take your seats. We are about to begin. Ladies over here in the flowery dress. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's special book launch with Archie Fineberg. Today, he'll be speaking about his first ever bilingual book and fourth publication featuring the works of Laurent Gascon. You'll get to learn a little bit more about this very talented and highly skilled Montreal artist and his one-of-a-kind ceramic portraits in public spaces that pay homage to some important icons of Quebecois pop culture. First, I'll share a brief bio, and then you'll all hear from Archie, and you'll get to see the beautiful visuals that accompany his street art journey in Montreal. Since his teens, Archie Fineberg's favorite hobby has been photography. In 2007, he began a transition to full retirement following a long and successful career in financial and general management, the last 36 years of which were as vice president finance at Wenger's Limited. Looking for an interesting activity to fill some of his added leisure time, he became intrigued by the vibrant street art of his native city. He hit on the idea of combining this interest with his love of photography. In the absence of tour maps, relevant internet sites, blogs, or other resources as aids in locating the works that he was looking for, he quickly realized that he was it. His extensive exploration of Montreal followed. As his collection of images grew, he wanted to share his passion with others. In this way, he would also be acknowledging the talented artist who created this appealing work. In 2017, Fineberg published the English edition of Montreal's Street Art Gallery, following up with a French translation, Montréal Galerie à ciel ouvert, shortly thereafter. Both editions are bestsellers at the Montreal Museum of Fine Arts, the McCord Museum, Indigo Books in downtown Montreal, and sell briskly at other fine retail locations in the Montreal area and online at Renaud-Bré. We have them in the library collection as well. Archie published his third book, Montreal's Street Art Gallery 2, in June of 2022. We own both the English and French versions of this one as well. Oh, telephones off, please unmute. Okay, for those who would like to visit some great street arts creations, Archie offers numerous complimentary self-guided tour maps on his website, montrealstreetartgallery.ca. He'll be here to remind you, and I can remind you of the website after as well. These maps may be downloaded and printed at will. Archie is particularly pleased to be launching his fourth and latest book and sharing his enthusiasm for graffiti and street art with cote-saint-lucers and with his family and friends. Following his presentation, we'll have time for a question period, followed by a book signing over there at the blue tablecloth table. 1 second, please. I'm getting there. Thank you to Archie for speaking to us today, and to Sandy at Bibliophile Bookstore, who is not very patient, our partner in this afternoon's event. With no further ado, here is Archie Fineberg.
Danielle, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much, Danielle. That's a lot of information. I hope I have a few minutes left for my presentation. And when you were introducing, I got nervous because you said I was transitioning, and then and then you said, well, I was transitioning to retirement. So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. It's lovely to see you all. Bonjour à tous et merci d'être ici. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Cote-Saint-Luc Library. This is payback time now, reciprocation. I am going to acknowledge the Cote-Saint-Luc Library and Danielle Bélanger, Manager of Library Programs and User Experience. Since the early days, I think this is something Danielle has already said, but I think it bears repeating. So since the early days when I published my first book about Montreal's vibrant street art scene, Danielle and the library have always been encouraging and supportive. Thank you also to Sandy Kleiman of Bibliophile Books, a proud independent bookseller. Thank you, Sandy, for your expression of confidence in always having stocked my books right from the very beginning. And thank you for your enthusiasm about my latest book, Laurent Gascon, Ceramic Portraits in Public Spaces, Portrait en céramique dans les espaces publics. And Sandy, well, some of you already know, Sandy is looking after book sales today also. I'm also very pleased to acknowledge that the artist Laurent Gascon is here in the audience. You know, je suis également très heureux de saluer l'artiste Laurent Gascon qui est présent. So we can say that with confidence that Montreal was an early adopter of large-scale outdoor murals, and the artist Laurent Gascon was one of the earliest creators of such works. He was truly a pioneer and a trendsetter of outdoor murals. He created this huge mural named Balance Chromatique, Chromatic Balance, in 1972. It filled the facades of two neighboring five-story apartment buildings.
Maybe
Okay, a fresh microphone. And he created this example of massive early street art in 1973. He named this one Espace Vert, green space. It depicted a ribbon of more than 1 kilometer long. Yes, yes, you've heard right, 1 kilometer in length. Only a segment of the mural of that ribbon appears here. And both of these pieces were done. They were located in south central Montreal. So to give us some sense of perspective, this is a poster for a street art festival called Under Pressure. A little bit out of date in the sense that what I want to say is that it was the first organized street art festival in Montreal, and it was launched in 1996. 1996 was 24 years after Gascon created his first outdoor murals. In my book, I point out that he continued to innovate in a variety of other artistic expressions as well, and he has remained at the forefront of innovation to this day. Here are three such innovative creations. On the left, a giant inflated parrot atop the Tropique Nord condominium project in Cité du Havre in 1988. In the center, also in 1988, a very large inflatable character dubbed Floon that was commissioned by the Cirque du Soleil and toured overseas in such metropolises as London, Paris, and Tokyo. The object on the right was known as chasse-galerie, referring to a hunting fantasy legend that was popularized in Quebec by the publisher Honoré Beaugrand. And Honoré was honored with a metro station named after him. This piece was installed in 1998 and was on display in front of Montreal City Hall during the winter months of that year. Now, while Gascon was creating these massive works of art in Montreal's streets, a street art wave was sweeping throughout North America, well, actually all of the Americas. In the early days of my fascination with street art, I made presentations that elaborated on its origins and evolution. I identified the year, 1972, and the place, North Philadelphia, where street art is purported to have first appeared. The godfather of this phenomenon is thought to be the then 14-year-old reformed juvenile delinquent, Darryl McCrae, whose tag was cornbread. What began with cornbread's and McCrae's prolific tagging rapidly spread to other large American cities. Here's one example of tagging and property defacement in a New York City subway car. And this is a striking shot of a Manhattan street scene in the same era. Eventually, beginning in the late 1960s, with the encouragement and financial support of municipal arts programs in cities like Philadelphia, artistic murals began to supplant the unsightly tagging. This trend gained popularities in other large North American cities, and eventually in Montreal as well. This latter initiative was an important factor that encouraged Gascon, his creation, encouraged Laurent Gascon's creation of his 17 ceramic tile murals, the subject of my latest book. Can that light be lowered? Thank you. Gascon's first ceramic tile mural in Montreal in 2009 paid homage to the internationally famous poster artist Vittorio Fiorucci. The mural doesn't literally resemble Fiorucci. Rather, the image is of a poster that Fiorucci designed for the 1977 National Arts Center staging of the opera Don Juan. Some of you may recognize the little leering green monster picture here beside the mural. Well, it's none other than Fiorucci's namesake, Victor, that he designed as the mascot for the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival. So though this mural by Gascon was the first of such in Montreal, it was not his very first mural employing ceramic tile. In the period preceding his first Montreal piece, he had already created numerous abstract ceramic tile murals in the Dominican Republic. It was there that he perfected his technique of using ceramic tile in decorating the walls of condominium projects. Here's the thing. Over the past several years, in many of the presentations I've made, I talked about the ephemerality of street art. There are many reasons for this phenomenon, And one of them is the effect of natural climatic conditions. This was an important issue for Gascon because his desire was that his murals would please viewers for several generations. The medium of glazed ceramic tile offered such durability. In researching and writing my book, I became aware of the pride that Gascon expressed in Quebecois culture by creating his 17 murals, all of which are portraits. All of them are located at intersections along Montreal's Ontario Street East. The following images that appear on the screen, or that will appear on the screen, are his own preparatory sketches that guided him in his on-site creation of the murals. The images of the 17 completed murals that are featured in my book will follow later in my presentation. The people he depicted have all made important contributions to popular culture in their writing, composing, singing, acting, and in stand-up comedy monologues. In my past presentations on street art, one of the most common questions audience members have asked was how street artists in general translate a sketch that might measure, say, 9 inches by 12 inches, or maybe less, maybe smaller. How do they translate that into a mural that could be 20 feet by 30 feet or more? Obviously, eye-hand coordination plays a key role. The artists often begin by sketching the outlines on the wall freehand and then proceed to fill in the details, frequently referring to their preparatory drawing. As they progress, they fine-tune any details as necessary. And this holds especially true when the image is painted in the conventional manner, meaning spray painted. However, in the case of Gascon's work, he cements the hundreds of tile fragments one by one. What he has already cemented onto the wall is essentially unforgiving. So when I researched Gascon's method, I was amazed at the painstaking process that he follows, given that it must be right the first time. And let's not forget that he's no longer a very young man. And yet he perseveres doing what he loves. Some of the photos I've shown, and I will show, to illustrate the foregoing process, originated in Laurent Gascon's own archive and appear in a book by the couple Mineko Suzuki and Raymond Vezina, who collaborated on writing their extensively researched book titled Laurent Gascon, Artiste Muraliste. And here's the scoop. In just the last few days, Gascon completed his 18th mural depicting the multi-talented television, radio, and film personality, Norman Braithwaite. Another terrific achievement. I first became aware of Gascon's unique ceramic portraits 11 years ago after spotting a partially completed mural on Hogan Street in the southeast sector of Montreal's Ville-Marie borough. That mural in progress would eventually take the form as Pauline Julien, the influential nationalist singer and partner of the poet Gérald Godin. The artist, however, was not present, So I left my name and phone number at the dépanneur adjacent to the mural and asked the owners for a favor in passing along. Excuse me. I asked a favor of them to pass along my information to him or her. And a few days later, I received a call from the mystery artist, one Laurent Gascon. He was friendly and forthcoming and encouraged me to come back to learn about his work and the evolution of his artistic career and his innovations. I soon became a dedicated fan of his with frequent visits over the next 10 years to follow the progress of his subsequent ceramic tile creations. I also attended many of his murals inaugurations. Here's a photo taken on one of those occasions. Very likely you will recognize the former mayor of Montreal, Denis Coderre. The man in the middle is the mural's subject, the rock singer Plume la Traverse, and on his left, Laurent Gascon, of course. Here's Mayor Valérie Plante with Laurent Gascon at the inauguration of the mural honoring Jerry Boulet, the musician and lead singer of the band Offenbach, which was popular in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Here is Laurent Gascon just 1 year ago with Jeannette Bertrand at the inauguration of the mural dedicated to her, honoring her. On that occasion, this powerhouse of radio, television, and film was just a few months short of 100. Yeah. And still attracting a sizable crowd of her followers. In fact, when she spoke extemporaneously, she had the crowd eating out of her hand. It was amazing. One more image of Gascon and the subject of one of his murals. I'm willing to bet that for many of you, Robert Charlebois is immediately recognizable. Now, Gascon resides in the neighborhood where he creates his ceramic tile art. And he has a genuine interest in beautifying his and his neighbors' surroundings. Throughout his career, an important priority of his was to bring art to the people who were not inclined to visit a museum to enjoy art. In utilizing the durable medium of ceramic tile, his murals will effectively withstand the elements, thereby maintaining their appeal for a great many years. In witnessing his frequent interactions with people in his neighborhood, as he worked, I gained an appreciation for his sincere wish to engender long-lasting community pride. Elaine, my wife and muse, where are you? Hi. And editor. Thank you. Right up to the last minute. Elaine became aware of my enthusiasm in my association with Laurent Gascon. And it was her strong encouragement that led me to produce my latest book. Gascon's process of creating his murals begins many months ahead of the on-site work. His advanced planning includes negotiating with the subject or their estate, and where possible, obtaining their agreement, their commitment to participate in the eventual inauguration of the completed mural. He then seeks the permission of the building's owner to have the mural appear on it. From there, he negotiates a fair price for his work with the City of Montreal or the borough administration. And then he is ready to begin the on-site phase, not the work, but the phase, consisting of making preparatory sketches and taking precise measurements. Every mural begins with his preliminary full-colored sketch. In his studio, he then transcribes its outlines onto paper in the ultimate mural's projected finished size. This alone is an impressive feat, given that his murals are very large. For example, the mural of Gilles Vigneault measures some 50 square meters. Big. Once the outline is completed, he attaches it to the wall, he unrolls it, and starting at the bottom, he copies the lines onto the brick wall, repeatedly cutting the paper away a bit at a time, working his way up to the top. At the very beginning of pasting the individual fragments of glazed tile onto the wall, he begins with the eyes and the mouth, thereby capturing personality and possibly even the soul of the subject. He then continues the cutting and cementing of the myriad pieces of countless shapes and sizes. When the final fragment of tile is cemented in place and every joint down to the tiniest one is grouted, the result is, in a single word, awesome. So now it's time for the images of the 17 murals themselves that are accompanied in most cases by his final preparatory sketch. At the beginning of my process of pulling together the visuals and writing the text, I faced the reality of how little I knew about these 17 very public and well-loved personalities. In truth, I knew practically nothing about these notables of Quebecois popular culture. However, some research provided me with a general appreciation of their outstanding talents and human qualities. In my book, every mural is accompanied by a brief biography that includes highlights of their talents and achievements, and in most cases, entertaining aspects of their personalities. I asked myself whether in writing this book, I might be seen as appropriating a culture that was not mine and about which I had scant knowledge. I hope I've carefully avoided this. I contemplated whether I would publish the book in English and possibly later have it translated. And what exactly was it that I wanted to say? Clearly, I had much ground to cover to produce a book that would appropriately acknowledge Quebecois popular culture, celebrate Laurent Gascon's accomplishments, and laud the careers and cultural contributions of this group of 17 talented people. Then I thought about the two predominant cultures and languages in Quebec and their coexistence, especially so in our vibrant city. This reality suggested that a bilingual format with text appearing side by side throughout the book would be both fitting and hopefully would have wider appeal. Finally, now that the book is completed, published, and accepted in outlets in many parts of the city on both sides of Boulevard Saint-Laurent, I can honestly say that the entire project was a grand and pleasing adventure. It was and continues to be a blast. So at this point, I would be pleased to answer any questions you might have. And Laurent Gascon, who's with us, is also agreeable to answer questions about his métier. So I will leave, let's see, I'll leave this image on the screen. Okay.
What's funny is that these tiles are the commercial tiles. Yeah, they're, and let's say they're cooked like 1200 degrees. And I mean, that can resist to any light or rain. Like commercial place, like Olympia tiles or whatever. So what I do is like, when like I do everything that these tiles come to me like they're square or I mean rectangles. So I don't want my mural to look like a bathroom. So or kitchen or whatever. So that's why I cut them so like every piece can be like different from the other, which makes like a kind of a abstract painting every like square foot, you know.
Same line, so that I would try to explain to people how to do this, I get doctor, make all this. So if you get to the wall, or do you now you take your roof and you have a little.
Are between 4,000 and 5,000 pieces, okay? So I mean, if it was like a puzzle with a number, I mean, where's the number 3062? I mean, you know. So no, I have to cut them on a spot, and one leads to the other. And then, I mean, I always have to think, let's say, a few shots before, like you're playing a chess game, you know? You're thinking, okay, if I do like a little mistake here, then I can lose maybe an hour, you know, like to repair because I did a wrong move, you know? So every piece that I cut and stick there has to be like the next one should be fitting. And I mean, I have to prepare for the next one, third one, and you know, like this. Okay, on the spot, I'm getting used to it. Huh? Okay, like the one this year took me about a month and a half, but now I discovered something that helps me a lot, like the details, like the eyes, the mouth, you know, these things that maybe in the mouth has maybe 50 different little pieces. If I do it on the spot, then I could take me like 3-4 days. But if I do it on the table in my studio, could take me a day or two. And then I just stick them together. When I come on the spot, then I just stick it on the wall all together. So that's my new discovery for the last few years. But before that, I used to do it like, it was a big job, you know. But now that's my new discovery. Well, that's my main concern. because, no, I always think, some people say, hey, it's gonna stay there for a while. I always say, hey, as long as the building is there, you know? But I mean, I'm not the owner of the building, so, I mean, do what, like 2 years ago, someone told me that, one of the murals, they're gonna destroy it and make some kind of window for something, you know, like a boutique or something like that. And then, after a while, the guy said, no, no, we're gonna keep it like this, and we're gonna make the window on the other side. And, like a few years ago also, there was a place called, the Music Box, okay, on Ontario Street. And then, they sold the building, which is like the mural I did for Marjo, which is the kind of quarter cylinder. And then I asked them, I said, hey, you just bought the building. I hope if you build something new on the spot that you keep at least this. And then the guy told me, no, don't worry. If we make a new building there, we're gonna keep that part like as part of the new building. So I was really grateful. Yeah, they did it like at the Maisonneuve culture place there. They redid the whole brick wall, and then they just saw all around, and they kept the mural. So it's possible. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, Roman mosaics are
Why not?
are still there, you know. Yeah, yeah. As long as the building is there, I mean. Yeah, sure, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the first one I did like 18 years ago now, 17 years ago, which is a Vittorio's mural. It's like you look at it like it was made yesterday, you know? Didn't change, nothing, color, everything. No, nothing, no, the glue is like 100% glue.
Yeah, but, and d'autres parties, peut-être, is it possible that you get a commission to put one of your works on a new metro station? And would that be your dream come true? Or is that a horrible bet?
Do you know someone? Can you present
No,
me
no,
someone?
you gotta get it there.
No, you know, like there's a poet called Félix Leclerc. I don't know if you know him. Okay, which, he has a song that says, "Moi, mes souliers ont beaucoup voyagé." Okay, so I thought maybe I would do it at the REM metro station in Dorval. Mes souliers ont beaucoup voyagé.
Tu as proposé à Madame Plante?
Madame Plante, she told me that she has nothing to do with that. It's something with Quebec or I don't know who. I mean, it's not easy, you know, like the architects are, they all have little IDs, you know. So, I mean, let's see for the future, but if you have a good,
Connection?
good
No.
connection, no?
Un rêve, peut-être.
Okay. Well, it started when I was in Dominican Republic. Then there was I looked everywhere, and I mean, I was a muralist all my life. You know? So then I was there for a few years in Dominican Republic, and I said, "What's funny? The floors are made of tiles, the walls are made of tiles, everything's out of tiles. So why don't they do some murals with tiles? So I went to see some owner of a new condominium building, like a deluxe, you know. And I told him, hey, I'd like to make a mural there, you know. And then I presented him something, and he says, look, all the tiles are there. Do what you want. They're yours, and do it. That's how it started. You saw it on the picture.
Laurent, because I remember that part of your story. And when the owner of the condominium project said to you, did you ever do something like this before? Right? And you said, no, but I can do it. I think that has been your attitude throughout your career.
City of Montreal, most of them. Yeah, but I mean, you know, from maybe like in the last 17 years, I mean, I met like 6 or 7 mayors, and they are all telling me, "Hey, Laurent, comment vas-tu?" They're not boo, voile, boo. No, no, no. They are like, I mean, I don't know. I got I mean, little by little, you know, they know me. I hope every year that's gonna work. But of course, I'd like to do like maybe more commercial work or more official work, like in the metro, as you said, or big buildings here and there. But up to now, I always like to do my things where people need it. You know, like it's not only like these people, you know, they don't have access to art. They live in a neighborhood, they're poor, most of them. And then when I put some piece of art there, maybe it will make them think, hey, let's go visit a museum or something, you know, just maybe wake up people on something else and, you know, daily, every day, I mean, every day, I mean, every 5 minutes. Sometimes I say, okay. Now some of them just stick there, but I say, hey, okay, after a few minutes, okay, thank you. That I got to, because this is this kind of work that you need really concentrate, you know. Else I lose time, and then I could work an hour, and then I said, whoops, so many people talk to me, I talk to them. Then I have to redo what I did, so it's no good. No. The pink stuff? Oh, no. Okay, no, no, the bird was, he was shitting. Merci à vous. No. No, it's like, to me, it's impossible because it's like, let's say I'm making a paint, and I'm painting a portrait or something like that, you know. Then I tell someone, hey, you do the eyes, I do the mouth, you know, that doesn't work, you know.
No,
So-
but just apprendre the technique.
To learn it, yeah, if someone is interested, but after they come and look at me an hour, they can see that after an hour, I just cut and fixed maybe 7 tiles. So I mean, they get tired of watching me, and they go do something else. Then I tried. Okay, I say, don't talk to me. I'll explain you how I do by thinking loud. So what I do, like, okay, now I cut it like this, prepare it for the next little piece. I speak alone, you know. So the guy says, okay, I'm starting alone, so let's go back home. That's crazy. Yeah. But I mean,
Miriam, thank you very much for that
If I can.
observation. Yeah.
that's exactly how I wanted to finish my interview. Like, I'm grateful to Archie because the genius of first doing it in English and French, like just to make English people to know what French Canadian pop art is to me it's genius. And besides that, besides making a little a mini biography of my work, he did a mini biography of each and every one of these artists, which is crazy because no one would have thought about it. That's great. And that's why I admire Archie like he's my friend now. I mean, I didn't know him so much before because year after year, I mean, that man is really, I mean, to me, it's going to be a souvenir for the rest of my life. Never saw something like that. Thank you, Archie.
Well, Laurent, thank you very much for those nice words. And it was really a great pleasure for me. And I'm going to now go back to something Miriam said about the kids who spend their time in front of a screen. They don't really know very much about Quebecois popular culture. And that was, I felt like one of those kids. Not in the sense of sitting in front of a screen, but not knowing a thing about these people. And so I photographed the murals. Their murals are awesome. And I was happy. And then Elaine said, Archie, you know something? That would make a great book. And so I said, yeah, but I don't know anything about this.
Thank you.
So then I went back to school. I started to do the research and I was amazed. It was a thrill. So Danielle Bélanger, how much time do we have? What time does the library close? 5 minutes. 5 more minutes. Okay. Yes, that's right. Yes. I'll be happy to sign books. And Laurent, it would be a great pleasure for me to have your signature beside mine on the books.